But, you know, it sounds like we're slagging off the left, and we are, because it's necessary. But I can't wait for the left to recover their sanity, because they're going to be super necessary over time. Because when people get into power, they do a lot of stuff, and then eventually that power is corrupting.
100%.
And you have to hold power accountable no matter who's got it.
100%. Everybody needs to hear that and shout that from the rooftops. Because if the left stays crazy, then you lose balance, and then the right goes nuttier, and they go full Christian fundamentalist, like. They can get kooky, and this is not a knock on Christians, because I think true Christianity is wonderful and beautiful.
Agreed.
I think it's a great way to live your life, and I know some incredible Christians.
Some of the best people.
I'm talking about human nature as applied to power.
Yeah.
And when people get into power, they want more and more and more. That's why rich people never feel like they have enough money. It's a crazy part of being a man, and it's some women, but it's a lot of men. A lot of men want that.
Can I ask you something personal on that?
Sure.
You've made a lot of money. How do you deal with that?
I don't know. I wish I could figure out how I do it so easy. Yeah. I think it's working out. I think that's a huge part of it. That I torture myself so often that like regular life just doesn't freak me out as much. And then it gives me a balance, because you could think that the numbers in a bank account are really what counts, but what really counts is how you feel. How are you handling life? Like how are you enjoying life? I just try to enjoy life as much as possible, and I try to put myself through a lot of voluntary adversity, so regular adversity is not that big of a deal.
Was there a number that you got to and you were like, oh, I'm good now?
No. I think it was the Fear Factor days. The Fear Factor days changed my it just changed how I view everything, because then I had like legitimate fuck you money. That was like the first time I got fuck you money. Like, I'm not doing shit. And I just like decided to just concentrate on only doing my own thing after that. And like once Brian Callen said something really wise once. He said, once you can go to a restaurant and not have to worry about how much it costs, everything after that is bullshit. He's like, you just have to be comfortable. And I was like, that's right. That is right. Like, if you just start thinking about the numbers and chasing the numbers, Brian has a friend who's worth $3 billion, and he feels poor when he hangs around with his friend who's worth $80 billion. I'm not kidding. He's like, it's true, dude. I mean, I feel less worthy. He's like, they're drinking together, and he's telling him this. I'm like, this is madness. Because you're chasing numbers instead of, like, really trying to maximize your enjoyment of this experience, because it's a unique experience that only you are having. And you're interacting with so many bizarre and fascinating people, and there's so many bizarre and fascinating events that are happening in the world, and horrific events. And all of it is happening, and we're all seeing it together in real time for the first time in human history. There's never been a time unless with the Egyptians. I got some questions. I think they might have known a lot more than we think. But everybody else, this is the only time ever where we're sharing everything all the time. And there's a lot of confusion and a lot of like scammering for narratives and trying to like figure out what's right and what's wrong. But without like some sort of like moral and ethical guidelines of kindness and community for everybody, like share, like universally. Let's agree as Americans, we are going to respect each other like we're a community. If we have differing beliefs on welfare or abortion or war or whatever it is, like let's treat those like what they are, which is just ideas that we should be discussing based on their merits. And we should all agree. What does everybody want? Everybody wants to be happy and healthy, and they want their family to be happy and healthy, and they want to be able to make a living and enjoy their life. That's what everybody wants, universally. That should be what we discuss constantly. And all the other things should be things that we debate reasonably. And when people can't do that, you should lock them out of the conversation. You should say, like, no, you're crazy. You're calling him a retard, and you're screaming about this and that, and you're bringing up this from the past and this bill and that. Why did you flip-flop on that? Shut the fuck up. Like, stop talking like that. Like, this is all divisive. All of it's divisive. When it's like the one time where there's a possibility of a fork in the road. Like this one time where there's narratives that are being spread like you guys do all the time in your show. All the time. You give reasonable takes on things that have an objective perspective of the world, and then other people get to hear it. And then they listen in on that. And you have a great conversation with Jordan Peterson or someone, and somebody hears like some nugget of truth, and then they're in their car and they're like, fuck, he's right. Fuck, he's right. That person would have never experienced that without being connected to your show. So there's incredible hope for people to be more reasonable and to wake up and go, there's not a right and there's not a left. There's just a bunch of ideas. And people are acting like it's the Eagles versus the Cowboys. That's what it is. And this craziness that these people are the Nazis and that everybody over here is Antifa, like, what the fuck are we doing? And why are we allowing these people to do this for us and make a living putting that on the news all the time? And the more inflammatory it is, the better, even when it's ridiculous.